How did a simple game become a powerful global phenomenon in sports history? Join us to uncover the hidden history of football's rise as a game and its evolution into a cultural and political force. From dusty battlefields of ancient empires to billion-dollar stadiums, this is the real story behind the beautiful game. First, football's surprising roots in ancient civilizations. Then, how the British Empire turned it into a global export. After the rise of FIFA, the World Cup, and the politics hiding behind the goals. Then, legendary moments that united nations and divided them. And finally, untold stories from Africa, Asia, and South America you've never heard. Whether you're a hardcore fan or just curious, what you're about to hear will change how you see football forever. This is how football took over the world. Football didn't start in England, not really. Long before modern rules or shiny trophies, people across the world were already playing ball games, and some of them were surprisingly similar to what we call football today. Let's go back over 2,000 years, to ancient China. There, a game called cuju was played with a leather ball stuffed with feathers. Players kicked it around, trying to get it through a small goal. It was used to train soldiers. But it also became entertainment, played in imperial courts. At nearly the same time, in Mesoamerica, civilizations like the Maya and Aztec played a very different kind of ball game. They used a heavy rubber ball and hit it with their hips, elbows, or knees. These matches were often linked to religion, and sometimes to ritual sacrifice. Victory and defeat had life or death consequences. In ancient Greece and Rome, there were ball games too. The Romans played harpastum, a rough mix of rugby and soccer, used by soldiers to build strength and teamwork. But the closest ancestor to modern football, that comes from medieval Europe. In towns across England, chaotic games called mob football were played between entire villages. Hundreds of people took part. There were no real rules. Just one goal: get the ball to the other side of town. It was wild, violent, and extremely popular. These early games were more about chaos than tactics, but they shared something powerful: a love for movement, teamwork, and the thrill of chasing a goal. And no matter where they came from, China, Mexico, or England, they all prove one thing: the human instinct to kick, chase, and cheer around a ball is ancient, and it crosses every culture. Before football had rules, it had meaning. It brought people together. Sometimes it even tore them apart, but its journey was just beginning. Modern football was born in Britain, but it didn't stay there for long. By the mid-1800s, football had evolved from chaotic street games into something more organized. The key turning point came in 1863, when the Football Association, FA, was founded in England. For the first time, there were written rules: no hands, no hacking your opponent's legs, just kicking, passing, and scoring. As Britain built its empire, football sailed along with it. British soldiers, sailors, and merchants took the game to India, Africa, Southeast Asia, and South America. Missionaries used it in schools. Factory owners used it to build discipline and team spirit among workers. Wherever the British flag flew, the ball followed. But something interesting happened. People didn't just watch the British play, they started playing too. And soon they made the game their own. In Argentina, British railway workers brought football to Buenos Aires. But it didn't stay in elite clubs for long. Locals embraced the sport. Within decades, Argentina had one of the strongest football cultures in the world. In India, early clubs were dominated by British colonials. But by the early 20th century, Indian players formed their own teams. In 1911, Mohun Bagan, a barefoot Indian side, defeated a British regiment in a major tournament. It was more than a win. It was a moment of national pride. In Africa, football spread through schools and mining towns. Colonizers used the sport to civilize local populations. But soon it became a tool for resistance and identity. The British thought they were exporting a game, but in reality, they were planting the seeds of a global movement. Football adapted to local cultures. It merged with music, language, and politics. It became a way for ordinary people to express themselves on the pitch and off it. By the early 1900s, football was no longer just a British sport. It was becoming the world's game. By the early 20th century, football had spread far beyond Europe, but there was a problem. There was no global organization to manage it. In 1904, 7 European countries created FIFA, the Fédération Internationale de Football Association. Its mission? Unite football around the world and organize international matches. But it wasn't until 1930 that FIFA launched its boldest idea yet, the World Cup. The first tournament was held in Uruguay. Only 13 teams showed up, most from the Americas. But Uruguay's win sparked something much bigger than a trophy. It showed that football could connect nations and stir national pride. And that's when politics got involved. In 1934, the World Cup was hosted by fascist Italy under Benito Mussolini. The Italian team won, but behind the scenes there were accusations of pressure on referees and political manipulation. For Mussolini, victory wasn't just about sport, it was propaganda. Over time, dictators, democracies, and corporations all realized something powerful. Football moves people. It can distract them, inspire them, even control them. In Argentina in 1978, a brutal military regime hosted the World Cup during a period of torture and repression. The government used the tournament to show a smiling face to the world. Argentina won, and the streets erupted in celebration. For a moment, politics disappeared under the roar of football. Even today, the World Cup is more than a game. In 2010, South Africa became the first African nation to host it. The event was marketed as a triumph of unity and progress. But many South Africans questioned the billions spent while poverty remained high. In 2022, Qatar hosted the most expensive World Cup ever. Under a cloud of labor abuse allegations and human rights concerns, the world watched the games. But many also asked, at what cost? Football, like no other sport, lives in the space between passion and power. Behind every goal, there's a story. Behind every cheer, a choice. FIFA may claim to unite the world, but in truth, football has always played on the edge of politics. Football has the power to freeze time. One goal, one match, one moment, and an entire nation holds its breath. Some moments bring us together. In 1950, Brazil hosted its first World Cup. Almost 200,000 fans packed into the Maracana Stadium in Rio de Janeiro, expecting an easy win over Uruguay. But Uruguay stunned the world, and Brazil, by winning 2-1. That match became known as the Maracanazo, the Maracana blow. It left a scar on Brazil's footballing soul, and it fueled their obsession to win back respect, which they did just 8 years later, led by a 17-year-old wonder kid, Pelé. Pelé became more than a player. He became a global icon, especially for black and poor Brazilians. His smile, his goals, his grace, they changed how people saw Brazil, and even how Brazil saw itself. In 1986, it was Diego Maradona's turn. In the quarterfinal against England, he scored 2 of the most famous goals in history, just 4 years after the Falklands War between the two countries. One goal was illegal, the infamous hand of God. The other was genius, a solo run past 5 defenders. It was football, but also revenge, art, politics, and poetry rolled into 90 minutes. Fast forward to 1998, France wins the World Cup at home. The hero, Zinedine Zidane, the son of Algerian immigrants. That team, black, Arab, white, became a symbol of multicultural unity. For a moment, it felt like all of France was celebrating as one. And in 2010, South Africa made history as the first African nation to host the World Cup. Vuvuzelas roared, Shakira sang, and the continent shined. Ghana came heartbreakingly close to reaching the semi-finals, and all of Africa felt it. These moments live in memory not just because of goals, but because they touch something deeper: identity, pride, hope, and heartbreak. In football, every match is more than a game. Football's biggest stories often come from Europe and South America's giants: Brazil, Germany, Italy, Argentina. But the deeper you look, the more surprising stories you find. In Africa, football was once used to divide people under colonial rule, but soon it became a weapon of unity. In Cameroon, Football legend Roger Milla danced into history during the 1990 World Cup, leading his country to the quarter-finals. He was 38 years old. Cameroon's success opened the door for African nations to be taken seriously on the world stage. In Zambia, tragedy turned into triumph. In 1993, a plane carrying most of the national team crashed into the Atlantic Ocean. Almost everyone on board died. But just 20 years later, a new Zambian team won the Africa Cup of Nations, dedicating the victory to the fallen. In Asia, countries like Japan and South Korea turned football into a symbol of modern strength. When they co-hosted the World Cup in 2002, South Korea reached the semifinals, shocking the world and sparking wild celebrations across the country. And in Iran, football has become a space of quiet resistance. Women, long banned from stadiums, have fought and sometimes risked arrest just to watch a match. In 2022, after the death of Mahsa Amini, Iran's national team refused to sing the anthem in protest. The world took notice. And then there's Chile, where in 1973, a football stadium was used as a prison after a military coup. Years later, the national team played a match on that same field, with a ghostly silence still hanging in the air. These stories may not make headlines, but they show the true power of football, to hurt, to heal, and to tell the stories that history books forget. Football didn't just take over the world with goals and trophies. It did it with stories, with people, with passion. From ancient China to modern stadiums, from colonial schools to rebel chants, football has been more than a game. It's a mirror of our world, the good, the bad, and everything in between. If you learned something new today, drop us a comment. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a like if you enjoyed the journey. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that dig deeper than the headlines, because sometimes the game is just the beginning.